Chapter 21. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Alchemists really make money quickly. I just became an alchemist, and I already have more than 500,000 in savings. Lin Feng looked at the text message and smiled. It's getting late, I should go back to school for class. After that, Lin Feng put away his phone, left the coffee shop, and took a taxi back to school. When Lin Feng arrived at the classroom, the first class had already begun. The head teacher Su Huan did not blame Lin Feng, and directly asked Lin Feng to sit back in his seat to listen to the class. When the first class was over, Su Huan came to Lin Feng and handed him a card. Lin Feng, this is the door card of the multi-purpose room. You are about to participate in the Olympic Games, you can go to the multi-purpose room to practice during this time. Teacher Su, thank you. Lin Feng took the door card. Lin Feng, practice hard and try to get a good score in this Olympiad. Su Huan smiled and patted Lin Feng on the shoulder, then turned his head to look at the students in the classroom and said loudly, Students, this afternoon, the leaders of the District Education Bureau and the Municipal Education Bureau will come to our school to inspect our work. Everyone should behave better at that time, okay? The leaders of the Education Bureau are coming to inspect our work again. One of the tall and thin students muttered in a low voice. Why do the leaders of the Education Bureau always like to come to our school to inspect our work? I can't let myself go now. Hey, it seems that I can't sleep in class today. The whole classroom was noisy. Su Huan pressed his hand, signaled the students to quiet down, and said, Today, the Dean of Teaching, Director Li, will lead the inspection. If you are caught fighting, I can't help you. You can take care of yourself. After that, Su Huan left the classroom. The students were dejected. Why did the leaders of the Education Bureau come to inspect our school? Lin Feng shook his head and said to himself, Forget it, I won't be in class later anyway, I will go directly to the multi-purpose room to practice. Lin Feng looked at the room card in his hand, ready to ask Su Huan for leave later, and then go directly to the multi-purpose room to practice. Dingling. The class bell rang. The teacher walked into the classroom with a textbook. When the students knew that the leaders of the Education Bureau were coming, they all sat up straight and listened to the class carefully. After the class ended, the students immediately lay on the table. Lin Feng asked Su Huan for leave. Su Huan naturally approved the leave directly. After getting the leave slip, Lin Feng went to the multi-purpose room as soon as possible and opened the door of the multi-purpose room. With the room card. The school's multi-purpose room is really well equipped. Lin Feng looked at the sign at the door and said to himself, There is not only a training room here, but also a test room. I just broke through the general realm, so I'll go test it first. Lin Feng followed the sign and walked straight into the test room. Face scanning, please wait. Face scanning successful. Lin Feng from Class 6, Senior 3. The door of the test room opened, and various equipment appeared in front of Lin Feng. Try the strength first. Lin Feng came to a fist strength tester and punched it. Boom. The numbers on the fist strength tester jumped rapidly and finally stopped at 8,000. The strength of my punch can reach 8,000 Jin. Lin Feng raised the corner of his mouth and smiled. Under normal circumstances, the strength of a punch from a first-level warrior in the general realm is only about 2,000 Jin. Even for a more powerful first-level warrior in the general realm, the strength of a punch is only about 3,000 Jin. But the power of Lin Feng's punch reached 8,000 Jin. Let's try to see how much power we can achieve when using martial arts. Lin Feng clenched his fist and used the divine elephant fist to punch with all his strength. Roar. 13 translucent giant elephants roared and rushed out, crashing into the fist force tester. The numbers on the fist force tester began to jump rapidly, and finally stopped at 130,000. After I use martial arts, I can hit 130,000 Jin of power. Lin Feng smiled. As long as the power reaches 25,000 Jin, it can basically reach the heavy baseline, but now Lin Feng's power has reached 130,000 Jin. This is far beyond the heavy baseline. Let's test the speed again. Lin Feng looked at a machine that looked like a treadmill next to him. Lin Feng stood on it and ran at full speed, and the data on the machine began to jump continuously, 27 meters per second, 55 meters per second, 61 meters per second. The highest data of the treadmill was fixed at 61 meters per second. In other words, Lin Feng's current speed has reached 220 kilometers per hour, which is almost equivalent to the speed of a supercar. The speed of the key college entrance examination line is usually 27 meters per second. Lin Feng's speed of 61 meters per second is far higher than the key college entrance examination line. This is when Lin Feng has not practiced martial arts. If Lin Feng practiced martial arts, Lin Feng's speed would be faster. Although I have fast legs, I still have to find time to practice martial arts. Lin Feng muttered to himself and looked at a light irradiator next to him. It was a machine specially used to test agility. Lin Feng walked to the machine and turned it on. A red light shone over. Lin Feng turned sideways and easily avoided the red light. Soon, another red light shone over, and Lin Feng still easily avoided it. Swish. More and more red lights shone out, blocking all of Lin Feng's routes. But this is not worth mentioning for Lin Feng, who has double pupils. These lights are very slow in Lin Feng's eyes. Lin Feng easily avoided all the lights with a flash. The data on the agility test machine also began to change constantly, 200 per minute, 300 per minute, 600 per minute. Swish. A red light fell on Lin Feng, and the data was fixed at 600 rays per minute. In other words, Lin Feng can avoid 600 rays of light per minute. My eyes can keep up, but my speed can't keep up. My speed is still a little too slow. Lin Feng looked at the data and was not very satisfied. He didn't know that the key line for the college entrance examination agility was 200 rays per minute. His 600 rays per minute were far beyond the key line. Now that all the tests are done, I should go to the practice room to practice. Lin Feng walked out of the test room and came to the practice room next to it. Face recognition in progress. Recognition successful. Lin Feng from Class 6, Grade 3. The door opened and it was empty inside. Lin Feng walked into the practice room, and a holographic projection immediately appeared in the center of the practice room. Various monsters were displayed on the projection. Please select the type of monster you want to kill. A mechanical voice sounded in the practice room. Lin Feng glanced at the monster on the projection. These monsters are all the monsters that must be tested in the college entrance examination. Let's try the armored rhinoceros first. The armored rhinoceros is the most common monster in the college entrance examination. This monster has strong attack power and even stronger defense power, and is one of the most troublesome monsters for candidates. Usually, candidates will focus on training for this kind of monster before the exam. Lin Feng reached out and gently touched the armored rhinoceros in the holographic projection, and the scene in the training room changed immediately. Chapter 22. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A dense forest appeared in the training room. A huge rhino covered with metallic scales surrounded Lin Feng in the center. Boom. Before Lin Feng could come to his senses, one of the armored rhinos had already hit Lin Feng with its huge horns like a tank. Lin Feng touched the ground with his toes, jumped high, and punched the back of the armored rhinoceros. Boom. The powerful force easily broke the hard scales of the armored rhinoceros. The armored rhinoceros twisted and dissipated, disappearing on the spot. This armored rhinoceros is not very powerful. The power of my punch is only 8,000 kilograms. If the armored rhinoceros can't withstand this little power, how can it withstand my punch of 130,000 kilograms of power? Boom boom boom. Just as Lin Feng was analyzing the armored rhinoceros, a dense group of armored rhinoceros stomped their hooves and ran towards Lin Feng. Dust billowed into the sky, covering the surroundings. This time, Lin Feng did not dodge, but directly used the divine elephant fist and punched out. Roar. 13 translucent giant elephants galloped past and crashed into the oncoming armored rhinoceros. The densely packed armored rhinoceros instantly twisted and finally dispersed. The armored rhinoceros is not very strong. Lin Feng punched and ended the training. The surrounding scene twisted and dispersed. The entire training room returned to its original appearance. On the holographic projection, there was an additional data. Battle duration, 8 seconds, killed armored rhinoceros. 312. Lin Feng glanced at the data and didn't have much idea. He retracted his gaze and continued to browse other monsters. Bloodthirsty fishman. This is a difficult problem in the college entrance examination. Let me try to see how powerful this monster is. The bloodthirsty fishman is extremely fast and has strong attack power. It has always been a monster that gives many candidates a headache. Lin Feng reached out and touched the bloodthirsty fishman on the holographic projection, and the scene in the training room changed again. Crash! Heavy rain poured down, densely packed high-rise buildings appeared all around. Swish! A blue light flashed. A monster with a fish head and a human body, holding a long fork, appeared in front of Lin Feng. Is this the bloodthirsty fishman? Before Lin Feng could observe the bloodthirsty fishman carefully, the bloodthirsty fishman had already swung the long fork and stabbed him. The bloodthirsty fishman was extremely fast and came in front of Lin Feng in an instant, but in Lin Feng's eyes, the speed of the bloodthirsty fishman was abnormally slow. Lin Feng turned sideways and easily avoided the attack of the bloodthirsty fishman, and punched the bloodthirsty fishman in the abdomen. Boom! 8,000 pounds of force exploded. The bloodthirsty fishman's abdomen was directly penetrated. The bloodthirsty fishman quickly twisted and dispersed. Swish! At this time, dense blue light flashed in front of Lin Feng's eyes. Hundreds of bloodthirsty fishmen appeared in front of Lin Feng. Heavy rain fell, getting heavier and heavier, constantly hitting the bodies of hundreds of bloodthirsty fishmen. The bloodthirsty fishmen shuttled through the heavy rain, and their speed became faster. The long fork in the hand of one of the bloodthirsty fishmen turned into a blue light, and went straight to Lin Feng's vitals, as soon as Lin Feng dodged sideways. The bloodthirsty fishmen around him attacked immediately. The dense long forks blocked Lin Feng's retreat. However, the speed of these long forks was abnormally slow in Lin Feng's eyes. Before the long forks fell, Lin Feng had already dodged in advance. Lin Feng's fists fell on the bloodthirsty fishmen around him one after another. Boom! The explosions continued to sound one after another. The bloodthirsty fishmen were pierced through the body and twisted and scattered. The bloodthirsty fishmen around were quickly cleared by Lin Feng. Heavy rain slapped on Lin Feng's face. Lin Feng looked at the empty surroundings and said to himself, "This bloodthirsty fishman is not as powerful as described in the textbook. Forget it, let's take a look at other monsters." Lin Feng withdrew from the battle, and the surrounding buildings quickly twisted and dispersed. The holographic projection showing various monsters appeared in front of Lin Feng again. At this moment, a new data appeared above the holographic projection. Battle duration, 16 seconds, killed bloodthirsty fishmen, 186. Overlord Sword Tiger. This is a difficult question for the college entrance examination. Try to see how powerful this monster is. Lin Feng reached out to touch the Overlord Sword Tiger, and the scene in the training room changed again. Dense trees appeared in the training room. From time to time, there were roars of beasts around. Lin Feng looked up and saw dozens of giant tigers with long sharp fangs staring at him, drooling. Is this the Overlord Sword Tiger? Lin Feng clenched his fist. The sharp fangs of the Overlord Sword Tiger are like a sword, cutting iron like mud. In addition, the Overlord Sword Tiger is powerful, extremely fast, and has very comprehensive abilities. That's why the Overlord Sword Tiger will become a difficult problem in the college entrance examination. Even Lin Feng, seeing the Overlord Sword Tiger, couldn't help but become a little solemn. Roar. At this time, one of the Overlord Sword Tigers moved its limbs and rushed towards Lin Feng like an armored vehicle. The sharp fangs of the Overlord Sword Tiger were like two sharp swords, cutting off all the surrounding trees. Even two long and neat cuts appeared on the ground. The fangs of the Overlord Sword Tiger are really sharp. As long as I avoid the fangs of the Overlord Sword Tiger, the Overlord Sword Tiger will not be a big threat to me. Lin Feng touched the ground with his toes and jumped high to avoid the attack of the Overlord Sword Tiger. Then Lin Feng landed on the back of the Overlord Sword Tiger and punched the Overlord Sword Tiger's head. Boom! The Overlord Sword Tiger's head exploded and twisted and scattered. No way, this is the powerful Overlord Sword Tiger mentioned in the textbook. How come this Overlord Sword Tiger couldn't even withstand my punch? Lin Feng muttered, and found that a dense group of Overlord Sword Tigers rushed towards him. This time, Lin Feng simply used the God Statue fist and punched out. Roar. 13 translucent giant elephants rushed past. All the oncoming Overlord Sword Tigers twisted and dispersed. Even the surrounding trees were razed to the ground. One punch solved it. Lin Feng curled his lips and quit practicing. the surrounding grass and trees twisted and dispersed, and Lin Feng returned to the practice room again. Above the holographic projection, another new data appeared: battle duration, 23 seconds, number of Overlord Sword Tigers killed, 133. There are quite a lot of monsters here, try every kind of monster. Lin Feng pulled to the first page and tried from the first monster. 15 minutes later, Lin Feng had tried all the dozens of monsters shown on the holographic projection. Every time, Lin Feng almost only took a few dozen seconds to kill hundreds of monsters, and then quit the practice. I have tried all the monsters in here, and this practice room is not very meaningful to me. Let's go eat first. Lin Feng touched his deflated stomach and left the multi-purpose room. Director Luo, Director Zhang, this is our multi-purpose room. Shortly after Lin Feng left, a thin middle-aged man wearing frameless glasses came to the door of the multi-purpose room with two tall men. The thin middle-aged man was Wang Haixing, the principal of Jianghai Vocational Auto Repair High School. The two tall men were Luo Nian, the director of the Municipal Education Bureau, and Zhang Huaimin, the director of the Jingning District Education Bureau. Chapter 23. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Director Luo, Director Zhang, this is the multi-purpose room. Wang Haixing smiled and brought Luo Nian and Zhang Huaiming to the door of the multi-purpose room. Li Yuan, Su Huan and others were also accompanying them. Swish. The door of the multi-purpose room opened, road sign appeared in front of Luo Nian and Zhang Huaiming. Luo Nian put his hands behind his back, glanced at the road sign, and frowned. Principal Wang, how come your school's multi-purpose room only has a test room and a practice room? With so little equipment, is it enough for so many students? President Luo, of course not. Wang Haixing shook his head and said, but there is no way. Our school has no money, and I have applied for expansion funds many times, but the higher-ups have not approved it, so the school can't expand the multi-purpose room. This multi-purpose room can only be used as it is. Principal Wang, you really can't blame the higher-ups for not approving you money. Luo Nian shook his head and said, you should know best how many times you have applied for expansion funds over the years. If the higher-ups approved it all, where would you get the money to expand other schools? Principal Luo, I admit that I did apply for expansion funds many times over the years. I applied for a small amount of expansion and renovation funds, but you never approved it once. Wang Haixing curled his lips and continued, even the small amount of expansion and renovation funds I applied for before to expand the school toilets were not approved by the higher authorities. Now our school toilets are still using old toilets from decades ago. Ahem. Luo Nian coughed and said, Principal Wang, you also know that the amount of money that can be applied for from the Ministry of Education every year is very limited. If there were more schools applying for expansion and renovation funds that year, naturally some schools would not get expansion and renovation funds. Luo Nian put his hands behind his back and continued, in recent years, the facilities of many schools have aged, and naturally more schools have applied for expansion and renovation funds. It is normal that your school cannot apply for expansion and renovation funds. Director Luo, I have applied for expansion and renovation funds for several consecutive years, and I have never been successful once. Wang Haixing said with a stiff face. Principal Wang, you also know that the expansion and maintenance funds must be given priority to good schools. After all, there are top students in good schools, and we should tilt resources towards top students. Luo Nian patted Wang Haixing on the shoulder and said earnestly, Principal Wang, work hard and cultivate more top students. If your school has top students, the higher-ups will naturally tilt resources towards your school. Director Luo, we are a vocational high school, how can top students come to our school? Wang Haixing complained. Director Wang, this is the problem you have to find a way to solve. Luo Nian put his hands behind his back and said, okay, let's go see the test room and practice room of your school first. Okay. Wang Haixing sighed and came to the door of the test room disappointedly. Facial recognition in progress. Facial recognition successful, Principal Wang Haixing, please enter. The door of the test room opened, and various test equipment inside appeared in front of Luo Nian and Zhang Huaiming. Luo Nian, with his hands behind his back, looked at the few test instruments in the test room and frowned. Principal Wang, your school is so big, but you only have so few test equipment. Yes, Principal Wang, your school has too few test equipment. Zhang Huaiming next to him also spoke up. Wang Haixing curled his lips and replied, it's because the expansion and maintenance funds cannot be applied for. These test equipment are still old equipment from more than 10 years ago. Ahem. Luo Nian coughed and changed the subject. Okay, let's take a look at the operation of these equipment first. If these equipment can still operate normally, then use them first. As he said, Luo Nian went straight to the punching force tester. He checked the punching force tester and nodded, not bad, not bad. Although this is a punching force tester from more than 10 years ago, it is still quite new and has all the functions. No, what's the situation with the numbers on this punching force tester? Zhang Huaiming looked at a display screen in the center and said, 130,000 gene of punching force, has a teacher just come to test the punching force? 130,000 gene of punching force, there must be a teacher who came to test the punching force. Luo Nian glanced at the display screen and said, such a strong punching force cannot be measured by students. No, all the teachers were in a meeting just now, and no teacher came to test the punching force. Wang Haixing spoke. Luo Nian's expression froze, and he was stunned for a while, and said, Principal Wang, this is 130,000 gene of punching force. It is impossible that such a strong punching force is not produced by a teacher. How could it be a student who punched out? Yes, only a teacher can punch out with such high punching power. Zhang Huaiming also spoke. Director Luo, Director Zhang, let's just see who tested it. Wang Haixing came to the punching power tester and said, this test room has face recognition, and whoever tested it will be recorded in it. I'll check now to see who tested this punching power. As he spoke, Wang Haixing controlled the punching power tester and retrieved the punching power test record from it. Tester, Lin Feng, a student in Class 6, Grade 3. Below is a face recognition photo of Lin Feng when he entered the test room. Lin Feng. Wang Haixing widened his eyes and stared blankly at the information displayed on the punching power tester. Li Yuan and Su Huan, who accompanied him, were also dumbfounded. This 130,000 gene punching power was punched out by Lin Feng. It really was punched out by a student. Luo Nian frowned and said, no, even if it is the best Tianhai City No. 1 middle school, it is impossible for anyone to punch with a force of 130,000 pounds, right? Is this Lin Feng really a student? Yes, even in Tianhai City No. 1 middle school, no one can punch with such a high force. How could this Lin Feng be a student? Could it be that the machine has been used for too long and has problems? Zhang Huaiming also spoke. Wang Haixing glanced at Zhang Huaiming and Luo Nian and said, Director Zhang, Director Luo, Lin Feng is really a student of our school. Wang Haixing thought for a while and added, however, Lin Feng transferred from Tianhai City No. 1 middle school to our school. Luo Nian. Zhang Huaiming. Zhang Huaiming was the first to come to his senses and exclaimed, how is this possible? Lin Feng is a top student, even Tianhai City No. 1 middle school will treat him as a treasure. How could Tianhai City No. 1 middle school let Lin Feng transfer to your school? The reason why Lin Feng transferred schools was, of course, because Tianhai City No. 1 middle school did not accept him. Wang Haixing paused and continued, by the way, in addition to Tianhai City No. 1 middle school not accepting Lin Feng, other schools in Tianhai City were also unwilling to accept Lin Feng, so Lin Feng finally transferred to our school. Because only our school is willing to accept Lin Feng. Zhang Huaiming. Chapter 24. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Zhang Huaiming's expression froze, and he stood there in a daze. After a while, he came back to his senses and said, Principal Wang, are you kidding? Lin Feng can exert a force of 130,000 kilograms, and Tianhai City No. 1 middle school and other schools will not accept Lin Feng. Yes, Principal Wang, Lin Feng can exert such a powerful force, how could Tianhai City No. 1 middle school and other schools not accept him? Luo Nian also spoke. Wang Haixing turned around and explained, Director Luo, Director Zhang, this is what happened. Lin Feng once awakened the supreme spiritual vein during the awakening ceremony and was admitted to Jianghai No. 1 Middle School. But later, Lin Feng's supreme spiritual vein was dug out by someone, and he stayed in the hospital for 2 years. Lin Feng just recovered recently, and then went to Jianghai No. 1 Middle School, wanting to resume his student status and go directly to the 3rd year of high school. However, Zhang Daqiang, the principal of Jianghai No. 1 Middle School, knew that Lin Feng no longer had the supreme spiritual vein, and was afraid that Lin Feng would lower the enrollment rate of Jianghai No. 1 Middle School, and finally decisively refused Lin Feng's reinstatement of his student status. The same is true for other schools. They are all afraid that Lin Feng will lower their school's enrollment rate, and all rejected Lin Feng. Finally, Lin Feng came to our school. The principal of Jianghai No. 1 Middle School refused Lin Feng's reinstatement of his student status. Zhang Huaiming's old face twitched fiercely. Luo Nian next to him suddenly said, Director Zhang, you used to be the principal of Jianghai No. 1 Middle School. I remember that Zhang Daqiang was your vice principal before. Your vice principal was wrong this time. Daqiang was indeed wrong. Zhang Huaiming nodded in agreement, but defended Zhang Daqiang. However, Daqiang's worries are not unreasonable. The enrollment rate of Jianghai No. 1 Middle School has always been 100%. Lin Feng's supreme spiritual vein was taken away. If Lin Feng's student status is restored, it will indeed reduce the enrollment rate of Jianghai No. 1 Middle School. Director Zhang, at this time, you still want to defend your former vice principal? Luo Nian he smiled and said, it seems that your friendship is very deep. Director Luo, I know Principal Zhang very well. He usually won't make mistakes. Zhang Huaiming glanced at the data displayed on the punching force tester and said, I admit that the data of 130,000 gene is indeed exaggerated. But if only the punching force is strong, it's useless. Director Zhang, Lin Feng's punching force is so high, and other aspects should not be too bad. Luo Nian looked at the other test equipment in the test room and said, since Lin Feng came to the test room, he will definitely not test only one item. Let's go to the speed tester next to it. Luo Nian walked straight to the speed tester next to it. Zhang Huaiming, Wang Haixing and others followed closely behind. The screen of the speed tester was showing the data of Lin Feng's previous test at this moment. 61 meters per second. Luo Nian widened his eyes, looked at the data displayed on the speed tester, frowned and said, is this speed also measured by Lin Feng? Director Luo, let me see the record. Wang Haixing came up, operated the speed tester, and looked through the record. Tester, Lin Feng, speed, 61 meters per second. Seeing this record, Wang Haixing was stunned for a long time, then turned around and said, Director Luo, I found out that the speed of 61 meters per second was indeed run by Lin Feng. Lin Feng's speed is so fast. Luo Nian put his hands behind his back and exclaimed, over the years, the key line of the college entrance examination is only 27 meters per second, but Lin Feng can now run 61 per second. With these two data of Lin Feng, he can definitely go to a famous school. Hearing this, Zhang Huaiming on the side remained silent. He was the principal of Jianghai No. 1 Middle School, and he naturally favored Jianghai No. 1 Middle School in his heart, but he didn't expect that Zhang Daqiang, the current principal of Jianghai No. 1 Middle School, actually pushed Lin Feng to other schools. Old Zhang, what a pity. Lin Feng was originally a student of your Jianghai No. 1 Middle School. Luo Nian laughed. Zhang Huaiming came back to his senses and said, Director Luo, the college entrance examination not only tests punching power and speed, but also agility. If you are not agile, you can't get a good score in the college entrance examination. 600 rays. Lin Feng can dodge 600 rays per minute. Li Yuan stood in front of the agility tester and suddenly exclaimed, Luo Nian, Zhang Huaiming, Wang Haixing and others looked over. Wang Haixing stepped forward quickly and asked, Director Li, what's going on? Principal Wang, come and have a look. Li Yuan turned around and said, I just checked the test record of the agility tester. It shows that Lin Feng has a total of dodged 600 rays of light. Lin Feng really dodged 600 rays of light in 1 minute, which is far more than the 200 rays of light per minute of the Qilin. Wang Haixing looked at the display screen and exclaimed. Dodged 600 rays of light in 1 minute, it's amazing. Luo Nian walked up, looked at Zhang Huaiming on the side, and smiled. Director Zhang, Lin Feng's grades will definitely be no problem for him to go to a famous school. It seems that you, Jianghai No. 1 Middle School, have lost a genius this time. Zhang Huaiming. Zhang Huaiming clenched his fists behind his back. Now he has nothing to say. Jianghai No. 1 Middle School has indeed missed a genius. By the way, Principal Wang, have you applied to the higher authorities for the expansion of the multifunctional room before? Luo Nian looked at Wang Haixing on the side. Wang Haixing nodded. Director Luo, I applied at the beginning of this year, and the higher authorities have not yet approved it for me. I will approve it for you now. Luo Nian looked at Zhang Huaiming on the side and said, Director Zhang, take some of your district's education funds and give them to Jianghai Vocational Auto Repair High School to expand the multifunctional room. Director Luo, our district's education funds are so little. If we take a part of it to Jianghai Vocational Auto Repair High School, there will not be enough money to expand the multifunctional room of Jianghai No. 1 Middle School. Zhang Huaiming said hurriedly. Director Zhang, the multifunctional room of Jianghai No. 1 Middle School is already very advanced, why expand it? Luo Nian waved his hand and said, besides, the equipment in Jianghai No. 1 Middle School is so complete, but it can't retain talents like Lin Feng. What's the point of improving the equipment of Jianghai No. 1 Middle School? It's better to take some of the money originally given to Jianghai No. 1 Middle School and give it to potential schools like Jianghai Vocational Auto Repair High School. Maybe we can cultivate more talents. Zhang Huaiming opened his mouth and wanted to say something, but Luo Nian interrupted directly. Director Zhang, you don't have to say anything. I have approved the multifunctional room expansion fund that Principal Wang applied for. When you go back, immediately withdraw part of the money allocated to Jianghai No. 1 Middle School and give it to Jianghai Vocational Auto Repair High School. Director Luo, I understand. Zhang Huaiming sighed. Chapter 25. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Zhang Huaiming sighed. Now the expansion and maintenance funds of Jianghai No. 1 Middle School may be reduced by more than half. The original expansion and maintenance plans will also have to be postponed. I really don't know what Zhang Daqiang does all day. Zhang Huaiming gritted his teeth. Wang Haixing next to him was grinning from ear to ear. The expansion funds he applied for at the beginning of the year were finally approved. This multifunctional room, which has been modified for more than 10 years, can finally be remodeled. Thanks to Lin Feng this time. Wang Haixing murmured to himself. Principal Wang, isn't there a practice room next to it? Let's go to the practice room and take a look. Luo Nian came up. Okay. Wang Haixing nodded, took Luo Nian and Zhang Huaiming out of the test room and went to the practice room next to it. Ding, face recognition in progress. Face recognition successful. Principal Wang Haixing, please enter. The door of the practice room opened. Everyone entered one after another. The light flickered. A holographic projection appeared in the center of the room. It showed various monsters. Luo Nian looked at the monsters on the holographic projection and nodded. These monsters are all the key monsters to be tested in the college entrance examination. The monsters in this training room are quite complete. Luo Nian casually clicked on the armored rhinoceros in the holographic projection. The scene in the training room changed rapidly. Densely packed trees appeared around, one after another. Huge rhinoceros wearing armor appeared in front of Luo Nian, Zhang Huaiming and others. The equipment is fine. Luo Nian put his hands behind his back and nodded slightly. Roar. The densely packed armored rhinoceros roared and rushed towards Luo Nian and others. The armored rhinoceros is indeed a group of violent and aggressive people. Luo Nian commented and then waved his hand. Whoosh! The powerful force gathered into a gust of wind and whistled past. The hundreds of armored rhinoceroses coming towards them twisted and dissipated in an instant. Luo Nian and others exited the test. The holographic projection appeared in front of Luo Nian and others again. At this moment, a piece of data appeared on the holographic projection, battle duration, 4 seconds, number of armored rhinos killed, 101. Ranking, 2. Luo Nian looked at his ranking, and the expression on his face froze. Killing 101 armored rhinos in 4 seconds and only ranked second? How is this possible? You know, killing armored rhinos with a full score of only 3 in 1 second, how could he be ranked second after killing 101 in 4 seconds? Then who ranked first? That's not right. Why is Director Luo only ranked second? Is there something wrong with this machine? Zhang Huaimin noticed Luo Nian's ranking. Our school has a special person to maintain the training room, so there must be no problem with the training room. Wang Haixing came up and said, let me check who is ranked first. Wang Haixing knew that Luo Nian did not use his full strength when he killed the armored rhinoceros just now, but even so, Luo Nian killed 101 armored rhinoceros in 4 seconds. This killing data is simply not something that ordinary people can surpass. Why is Luo Nian ranked second? With doubts in his heart, Wang Haixing quickly found the record. Soon, a piece of data appeared in front of him. Practitioner, Lin Feng, Class 6, Grade 3. Battle duration, 8 seconds, killed armored rhinoceros, 312. Rank, 1. Wang Haixing looked at the data displayed on the holographic projection and his expression froze, and he froze in place. He never thought that Lin Feng would be ranked first. The first place is Lin Feng. Killed 312 armored rhinos in 8 seconds. Luo Nian looked at the data displayed on the holographic projection and sighed. Killed 39 armored rhinos in 1 second, which is much higher than the full score of killing 3 armored rhinos in 1 second. Luo Nian turned his head to look at Zhang Huaimin standing next to him and smiled. Director Zhang, is there anyone in Jianghai No. 1 Middle School who can kill 39 armored rhinos in 1 second? Zhang Huaimin. Zhang Huaimin shook his head and said, I have left Jianghai No. 1 Middle School for a long time, and I don't know what the situation is now in Jianghai No. 1 Middle School. However, when I was the principal of Jianghai No. 1 Middle School, no one should have been able to achieve this data. Director Zhang, it's a pity that Jianghai No. 1 Middle School missed a talent. Luo Nian sighed. Zhang Huaimin remained silent, but he tightened his fists behind his back. Killing 39 armored rhinos in 1 second is definitely a top genius. He never thought that such a top talent would be rejected by Zhang Daqiang. By the way, Lin Feng came to the training room. He must have killed more than just the armored rhinoceros monster, right? Luo Nian looked at the other monsters displayed on the holographic projection and said, Lin Feng must have killed his monsters as well. Principal Wang, please operate it and see the data of Lin Feng killing other monsters. Okay. Wang Haixing nodded and checked the data of killing the bloodthirsty fishmen. Practitioner, Lin Feng, battle duration, 16 seconds, bloodthirsty fishmen killed, 186, ranking, 1. 186 bloodthirsty fishmen were killed in 16 seconds, and about 12 bloodthirsty fishmen can be killed in 1 second. This data far exceeds the full score requirement of killing 1 bloodthirsty fishman in 3 seconds in the college entrance examination. Luo Nian looked at the data displayed on the holographic projection and couldn't help but exclaim in admiration. The bloodthirsty fishmen are extremely fast, especially on rainy days. The speed of the bloodthirsty fishmen will increase several times. That's why it becomes very difficult to kill the bloodthirsty fishmen. Lin Feng can kill 12 bloodthirsty fishmen in 1 second, which shows that Lin Feng's strength, speed, and fighting skills are all very powerful. This is definitely the top student among the top students. Director Zhang, is there anyone in Jianghai No. 1 Middle School who can kill 12 bloodthirsty fishmen in 1 second? Luo Nian said. Zhang Huaimin shook his head and said, when I was the principal of Jianghai No. 1 Middle School, no one could reach this data. Director Zhang, what a pity. Luo Nian once again rubbed salt into Zhang Huaimin's wounds. He turned around, looked at the other monsters on the holographic projection, and said, Principal Wang, take a look at the killing data of other monsters. Good. Wang Haixing nodded and checked the killing data of the Overlord Sword Tiger. Practitioner, Lin Feng, battle duration, 23 seconds, number of Overlord Sword Tigers killed, 133, ranking, 1. 133 Overlord Sword Tigers were killed in 23 seconds, nearly 6 Overlord Sword Tigers were killed in 1 second. This data far exceeds the 30 seconds required for the full score of the college entrance examination to kill a overlord sword tiger. Luo Nian put his hands behind his back, looked at the data displayed on the holographic projection, and exclaimed. Zhang Huaiming's fists behind his back were clenched tighter and tighter, because he was too strong, his fists were crackling. He really didn't understand how Zhang Daqiang could miss a genius like Lin Feng. Even if Zhang Daqiang asked Lin Feng to take a test, he wouldn't miss Lin Feng. Chapter 26. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What on earth is Zhang Daqiang doing? Doesn't he know to test Lin Feng? Zhang Huaiming gritted his teeth creaking. Luo Nian turned around, looked at Zhang Huaiming, and asked, Director Zhang, what's wrong with you? No. Nothing. Zhang Huaiming shook his head. Director Zhang, your face is green, are you really okay? Luo Nian pouted. Zhang Huaiming. Zhang Huaiming's old face twitched, and he shook his head and said, Director Luo, I'm really fine. Okay then. Luo Nian looked at Wang Haixing on the side and said, Principal Wang, take a look at the killing data of other monsters. Okay, Director Luo. Wang Haixing smiled and continued to check the killing data of other monsters. Cultivator, Lin Feng, battle duration, 3 seconds, silver wolves killed, for 22. Rank, 1. Cultivator, Lin Feng, battle duration, 33 seconds, mighty iron elephants killed, 105. Rank, 1. Cultivator, Lin Feng, battle duration, 26 seconds, earth dragon armor killed, 88. Rank, 1. The data of Lin Feng killing monsters all appeared in the holographic projection. Seeing the data displayed on the holographic projection, Luo Nian, Zhang Huaiming and others froze in place as if petrified. All of Lin Feng's data far exceeded the data required for the full score of the college entrance examination. In other words, with Lin Feng's current grades, he can at least get the top score in Jianghai City. Director Zhang, it seems that Jianghai City No. 1 Middle School has missed a top scorer. Luo Nian said with a smile. Zhang Huaiming's face turned purple, and the corners of his mouth twitched. Director Luo, Zhang Daqiang, the principal of Jianghai No. 1 Middle School, is blind, and he deserves to miss a top scholar. Director Zhang, from your tone, you seem to have a lot of resentment. Luo Nian said with interest. Is there? Zhang Huaiming shook his head. Director Luo, I am not the principal of Jianghai No. 1 Middle School now. What does it have to do with me whether Jianghai No. 1 Middle School missed the top scholar? Okay then. Luo Nian put his hands behind his back, glanced at the data displayed on the holographic projection, turned around, looked at Wang Haixing on the side, and said, By the way, Principal Wang, has your school applied for expansion and repair funds for other facilities in the school before? Director Luo, I did apply for repair funds for other old facilities in the school a few years ago, as well as expansion and repair funds for some facilities in the school. Wang Haixing nodded and continued, but the expansion and repair funds I applied for were not approved by the higher authorities, and I didn't apply again in the following years. Principal Wang, I'll approve it for you now. Luo Nian smiled. Ah. Director Luo, the application I submitted a few years ago has been rejected by the higher authorities. Can it be approved again? Wang Haixing pouted. Principal Wang, you can just reapply. Luo Nian said with a smile, apply immediately and submit it, and I will approve it for you immediately. As for the money, the district will pay for it. Luo Nian looked at Zhang Huaiming on the side and said, Director Zhang, the facilities of Jianghai No. 1 Middle School are already very complete. Jianghai No. 1 Middle School does not need to repair equipment anymore, let alone expand it. You can directly give all the money allocated to Jianghai No. 1 Middle School to Jianghai Vocational Auto Repair High School. This. Zhang Huaiming was silent for a moment and nodded. Okay. By the way, Director Zhang, if the money originally allocated to Jianghai No. 1 Middle School is not enough, you can take out all the money allocated to other schools and allocate it to Jianghai Vocational Auto Repair High School. Luo Nian put his hands behind his back and said slowly, I have also inspected other schools. The equipment in those schools does not need to be repaired at all, and the schools do not need to be expanded. It is not very useful to grant them expansion and maintenance funds. It is better to grant all this money to Jianghai Vocational Auto Repair High School. Director Luo, I understand. Zhang Huaiming nodded. Wang Haixing, who was standing aside, had already laughed so hard that he couldn't close his mouth. Luo Nian was going to grant him all the maintenance and expansion funds that he had not applied for in the past few years. With this expansion and maintenance funds, Jianghai Vocational Auto Repair High School will undergo earth-shaking changes, and all this is thanks to Lin Feng. It seems I have to find a chance to thank Lin Feng. Wang Haixing smiled and muttered to himself. Principal Wang, let's go to other places to have a look. Luo Nian spoke. Wang Haixing nodded. Director Luo, Director Zhang, I will take you to see the cafeteria. After that, Wang Haixing left the multi-purpose room. Luo Nian followed beside him. Zhang Huaiming walked at the back. He thought of Zhang Daqiang missing Lin Feng, a genius, was missed, and he was angry. What is Zhang Daqiang doing? A genius like Lin Feng was missed by him. No, I have to make a phone call to ask about the situation. Zhang Huaiming took out his mobile phone and called Zhang Daqiang. Old leader, why did you call me suddenly? Is the school expansion fund and equipment maintenance fund I applied for going to be credited? As soon as the call was connected, Zhang Daqiang's voice came from the phone. Zhang Huaiming held the phone, suppressed his anger, and said, Principal Zhang, the expansion fund and maintenance fund applied for by your school are all gone. Ah. All gone. How is this possible? Didn't the maintenance fund and expansion fund I applied for have been approved? Zhang Daqiang was surprised. Yes, the maintenance and expansion funds you applied for were indeed approved by the higher-ups, but now they have withdrawn them. Why? The higher-ups have already approved it, why did they withdraw it? Principal Zhang, don't ask so many questions, answer me a few questions first. Zhang Huaiming held the phone and said, why don't you let Lin Feng resume his student status? Old leader, why do you suddenly mention Lin Feng? Lin Feng's spiritual roots were taken away by someone, and now he is a waste. If I restore his student status and let him take the college entrance examination, he will definitely not be able to get into university. Then our school's enrollment rate will be lowered by him. As the principal, in order to ensure the school's enrollment rate, of course I have to reject Lin Feng. Zhang Daqiang explained. Zhang Huaiming took a deep breath, suppressed his anger, and said, you said that Lin Feng's spiritual veins were taken away, then tell me how Lin Feng punched out a force of 130,000 kilograms. How did Lin Feng run 61 meters per second? How did Lin Feng manage to dodge 600 rays of light per minute? You call this having no spiritual veins? Old leader, are you mistaken? Lin Feng's spiritual veins were taken away, how could he have such beautiful data? Zhang Daqiang questioned. I saw this data with my own eyes, how could it be false? Zhang Huaiming's tone rose a few points. Zhang Daqiang on the other end of the phone was silent for a moment and said, Old leader, no matter how impressive Lin Feng's data is, it won't be of much use. If Lin Feng is not good at actual combat, he still can't get into a good university. Lin Feng killed 312 armored rhinos in 8 seconds. You call this ineffective in actual combat? Zhang Huaiming was so angry that he trembled all over. He gritted his teeth and continued, Lin Feng killed 186 bloodthirsty fishmen in 16 seconds. You call this ineffective in actual combat? Lin Feng killed 133 tyrant sword tigers in 23 seconds. You call this ineffective in actual combat? Lin Feng in 5 seconds. Zhang Huaiming took the phone and said Lin Feng's record one by one. Zhang Daqiang on the other end of the phone was completely silent. After an unknown amount of time, Zhang Daqiang's voice came from the phone again. How? How is this possible? Lin Feng can get the top score with this score. Principal Zhang, you also know that Lin Feng can get the top score with this score. Then do you know that you have rejected a top scorer? Zhang Huaiming suppressed his anger and said, if you had just given Lin Feng a little test, Jianghai No. 1 Middle School would not have missed such a genius. Principal Zhang, if you test Lin Feng, it costs money. Principal Zhang, you missed a genius in order to save money. Now, the genius that originally belonged to Jianghai No. 1 Middle School is gone, the expansion and maintenance funds that originally belonged to Jianghai No. 1 Middle School are gone too. Ah! Director Zhang, haven't the maintenance and expansion funds been approved? Why can they be withdrawn? Lin Feng is in Jianghai Vocational Auto Repair School, so the maintenance and expansion funds of Jianghai No. 1 Middle School have all been allocated to Jianghai Vocational Auto Repair School. Just because of Lin Feng, the maintenance and expansion funds of Jianghai No. 1 Middle School are all gone. Just because of Lin Feng. And not only the maintenance and expansion funds of Jianghai No. 1 Middle School are gone, but also the maintenance and expansion funds of other schools this year are gone. After speaking, Zhang Huaiming hung up the phone. Chapter 27. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Jianghai No. 1 Middle School, Principal's Office. Zhang Duqiang held the phone, eyes wide open, muttering, "This. How is this possible? Didn't Lin Feng have his supreme spiritual vein taken away? How can he still have such beautiful data? And the higher-ups actually gave all the maintenance and expansion funds to Jianghai Vocational Auto Repair High School just because of Lin Feng. I really misjudged this time." Zhang Duqiang squeezed the phone tightly, because he squeezed too hard, the phone was deformed by him, bang bang bang. There was a knock on the door. Zhang Duqiang sat up straight, looked in the direction of the door, and said, "Come in." The closed door opened, and a tall man and a gracefully dressed woman came to the office. These two people were Lin Feng's father Lin Zhantian and Lin Feng's stepmother Liang Yan. "Who are you? What's the matter?" Zhang Duqiang frowned. Lin Zhantian took out a golden business card from his body, handed it to Zhang Duqiang, and said, "This is my business card." Zhang Duqiang took the business card, looked at it carefully, and frowned immediately. Lin Zhantian from the Lin family of Longguo? This is one of the most powerful families in Longguo. Zhang Duqiang never thought that a member of such a big family would come to Jianghai No. 1 Middle School. "Mr. Lin, what can I do for you?" Zhang Duqiang's attitude was obviously much more polite. Lin Zhantian sat on the chair next to him and said slowly, "Is there a student named Lin Feng in your school? By the way, this student named Lin Feng was hospitalized in the first year of high school and has only recently woken up. Is the Lin family here to recruit Lin Feng?" Zhang Duqiang paused and continued, "It is normal for a genius like Lin Feng to be favored by the Lin family. This time Lin Feng is really flying high." "Genius?" Liang Yan frowned and said, "I admit that Lin Feng awakened the supreme spiritual vein 2 years ago. It is a genius. But Lin Feng's supreme spirit veins are gone now. What genius he is. This lady, I don't know if Lin Feng still has the supreme Lingli, but Lin Feng has finished the test. The speed reaches 61 meters per second, and the forest's agility can avoid 600 light every minute. This is Lin Feng's test data." Liang Yan's eyes widened. 16 seconds killed 186 bloodthirsty fishermen. Forest Feng killed 133 tyrant sword tigers in 23 seconds. At the end, Zhang Duqiang drank a mouthful of water, moistened his throat, and spoke again. Lin Feng's score is far higher than the Jianghai City College entrance examination champions in previous years. Just this score is enough to show that Lin Feng's supreme spiritual vein is likely to grow again. Can the extracted supreme spiritual vein grow again? Liang Yan widened her eyes. Lin Zhantian fell silent. Zhang Duqiang put down the teacup and said, "Aren't you here to recruit Lin Feng? Then what are you doing here?" "No, Lin family, Lin Feng, is Lin Feng from the Lin family?" Zhang Duqiang seemed to have thought of something, and suddenly broke out in a cold sweat. Lin Zhantian shook his head and said, "Principal Zhang, you think too much. Lin Feng is not from my Lin family. We came here this time just to ask you not to help Lin Feng recover his student status. But now it seems that you should have helped Lin Feng recover his student status." "I didn't help Lin Feng recover his student status. Lin Feng went to another school." Zhang Duqiang shook his head. Lin Zhantian. Lin Zhantian's expression froze, and after a long pause, he said, "Principal Zhang, are you kidding? You didn't help Lin Feng, a top student, to restore his student status, and let him go to other schools. Mr. Lin, I'm not kidding. Zhang Daqiang blushed and said, I was wrong. At first, I thought that Lin Feng would drag down the school and lower the school's enrollment rate without the supreme spiritual vein, so I refused to help Lin Feng restore his student status. In the end, Lin Feng went to Jianghai Vocational Auto Repair High School. As a result, Lin Feng measured the data I just told you at Jianghai Vocational Auto Repair High School. Lin Feng went to Jianghai Vocational Auto Repair High School. Lin Zhantian frowned and said, other schools also don't accept Lin Feng. Mr. Lin, Mate College entrance examination is coming soon, but Lin Feng still wants to go directly to the third year of high school, and then take the college entrance examination a month later. Who dares to accept him? All schools are afraid of lowering the enrollment rate. Zhang Daqiang shook his head. Don't you know to test Lin Feng first? Lin Zhantian spoke again. It costs money to do the test. Zhang Daqiang curled his lips. Everyone knows that Lin Feng's supreme spiritual vein has been taken away by someone, who is willing to spend money on him to do the test. You are really losing the big picture for the small. Lin Zhantian shook his head and got up and walked out of the principal's office. Liang Yan frowned and thought, she never thought that Lin Feng had such beautiful data. Not long after he recovered. If Lin Feng was given more time, what would he grow into? I am afraid that all the assassins I sent out before were intercepted by Luo Meihui. In that case, then I will send a more powerful assassin. I don't believe that I can't get Lin Feng's eyes. Liang Yan took out her phone and reissued a wanted order. Anyone who can get Lin Feng's eyes will be rewarded with 500 million blue star coins. Liang Yan, let's go. Lin Zhantian suddenly turned around. Okay. Liang Yan put away her phone and left with Lin Zhantian. Zhang Daqiang looked at the backs of the two people leaving and muttered, what do these two guys want to do? Forget it, it's none of my business anyway. Zhang Daqiang looked at the laptop on the table, only to find that his Campus Warrior Network account had been forced offline. What's going on? Why is my Campus Warrior Network account offline? Zhang Daqiang frowned and tried to re-enter his account and password, but the page showed that his password was entered incorrectly. No way, did the higher-ups also give my Campus Warrior Network account to Jianghai Vocational Auto Repair High School? Zhang Daqiang was so weak that he slumped in a chair. On the other side, Lin Zhantian and Liang Yan left in a stretched car. Zhantian, I didn't expect that even though I had taken away Lin Feng's supreme spiritual vein, he could still achieve such excellent results. He is indeed your son. Liang Yan smiled, but her voice was a little cold. Lin Zhantian leaned against the chair and closed his eyes without answering. Seeing this, Liang Yan said again, Zhantian, Lin Feng's talent is so great that he must be eradicated. Liang Yan, do you think the noise you caused when you dug out Lin Feng's supreme spiritual vein was not big enough? Lin Zhantian opened his eyes, frowned, and said, if it weren't for the two major families of the Lin family and the Liang family suppressing public opinion, you would probably have been sent to prison. Lin Zhantian, I think you can't bear to part with Lin Feng. Liang Yan snorted. Okay, I know you just want to get Lin Feng's eyes. Lin Zhantian closed his eyes again and said, I will solve this matter. Okay. Then I will wait for you to solve this matter. Liang Yan snorted and said no more. Anyway, she has reissued the wanted order. This time she must get Lin Feng's eyes. Chapter 28. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Jianghai Vocational Auto Repair High School. After Lin Feng finished using the multi-purpose room, he returned to the classroom. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining 2,333 optimization points. The voice of the system suddenly sounded in Lin Feng's mind. Lin Feng's optimization points increased by 2,333 points. Host, Lin Feng, optimization points, 2383. Free optimization times, 1. Lin Feng was stunned when he saw the sudden increase in optimization points. He didn't seem to have done anything, so how could he suddenly have more than 2,000 optimization points? Where did these more than 2,000 system points come from? Lin Feng was full of doubts, however, he was too lazy to think about it. The increase in optimization points is not a bad thing. Hello, Director Huang. Hello, Director Huang. A noisy voice came, a middle-aged man with gold-rimmed glasses and a slightly fat figure came to the class. Gao Feng followed the middle-aged man. Director Huang, he is Lin Feng. Gao Feng pointed at Lin Feng who was sitting in the last row and said, he is the one who stole my brother's qi and blood pill. I know. The slightly fat middle-aged man walked slowly to Lin Feng with his hands behind his back. Gao Feng raised his mouth and followed behind. Director Huang is here to see Lin Feng. Why did Director Huang come to see Lin Feng? Director Huang is the head of the grade. Did Lin Feng do something wrong? The students' eyes were all focused on the slightly fat middle-aged man and Lin Feng. Under the gaze of his classmates, the slightly fat middle-aged man put his hands behind his back and said arrogantly, Lin Feng, did you steal Gao Yang's qi and blood pill? I didn't steal Gao Yang's qi and blood pill. Lin Feng shook his head and said, Gao Yang gave it to me himself. Bullshit. My brother didn't give it to you on his own initiative. Gao Feng stood up and cursed, you threatened my brother, so my brother had to give you the pill. You are a robber. The slightly fat middle-aged man stretched out his hand to stop Gao Feng from continuing, then, the slightly fat middle-aged man stretched out his hand and said, Lin Feng, hand over the qi and blood pill, and then go and apologize to Gao Yang. Otherwise I will record you a serious offense. Lin Feng, Director Huang has spoken, why don't you return the qi and blood pill quickly, and then go and apologize to my brother? Gao Feng urged Lin Feng. Lin Feng could see that the slightly fat middle-aged man and Gao Feng were in the same group. Lin Feng is in trouble now. I heard that Director Huang is Gao Feng's uncle. Lin Feng is finished now. Director Huang is Gao Feng's uncle. Director Huang is obviously trying to help Gao Feng. The classmates looked at Lin Feng with sympathy. The whole classroom was noisy. Director Luo, Director Zhang, Lin Feng is in this classroom. Principal Wang, is Lin Feng in the classroom now? Director Luo, Director Zhang, it's hard to say. Let's go and have a look first. Wang Haixing brought Luo Nian and Zhang Huiming to the office of Class 6, Grade 3, class teacher Su Huan and Dean of Education Li Yuan followed behind. Principal Wang is here. Are the two people next to Principal Wang the leaders who came to inspect the situation today? The leaders actually came to our class to inspect the situation. The classmates looked at Wang Haixing, Luo Nian, Zhang Huiming and others and whispered. It seems that Lin Feng is in the classroom. Wang Haixing glanced at Lin Feng, and then looked at the slightly fat middle-aged man standing next to Lin Feng, and Gao Feng. Seeing these two people, Wang Haixing suddenly had a bad feeling in his heart. He frowned and asked, Director Huang, what are you doing here? Principal Wang. The slightly fat middle-aged man looked at Wang Haixing, and then looked at Luo Nian and Zhang Huiming next to him, and said with a smile, Director Luo, Director Zhang, you are here too. It's like this, Lin Feng robbed his classmates' qi and blood pill. I came here this time just to educate Lin Feng. Lin Feng robbed his classmates' qi and blood pill. Wang Haixing frowned, the slightly plump middle-aged man nodded, Principal Wang, after the second diagnosis exam yesterday, Lin Feng snatched Gao Yang's qi and blood pill. I know what happened yesterday. Su Huan came up and said, the qi and blood pill was clearly given to Lin Feng by Gao Yang himself. How come it was stolen when it came into Director Huang's mouth? Teacher Su, tell me what happened. Wang Haixing looked at Su Huan. Principal Wang, this matter actually has to start with Gao Feng. Su Huan recounted what happened in the past few days. After listening to what happened, Wang Haixing finally understood. Gao Yang clearly wanted to stand up for Gao Feng and teach Lin Feng a lesson. As a result, Gao Yang was scared when he learned that Lin Feng ranked first in the grade in the second diagnosis exam, and he also the pill was given to Lin Feng, hoping to settle the matter, but Gao Feng was not convinced, and called Director Huang over again to let Director Huang take the lead. Principal Wang, the behavior of your school's leaders is not very good. After listening to Su Huan's story, Luo Nian said, "As a teacher, how can you bully the weak and take revenge?" "Director Luo, I will handle this matter." Wang Haixing replied. "How you deal with it is your business, but I'm going to communicate with Lin Feng now." Luo Nian smiled and came to Lin Feng. Zhang Huaiming followed behind. "You are Lin Feng?" Luo Nian said in a gentle tone. Lin Feng nodded. "I am Lin Feng from Class 6, Grade 3. "Not bad, not bad. You are not only talented, but also handsome." Luo Nian said with a smile, "We have seen your test data. You are excellent. I am looking forward to your performance in the college entrance examination." Lin Feng, work hard and strive to get good results in the college entrance examination to make our Jianghai mayor proud. Zhang Huaiming next to him also spoke. Lin Feng was stunned and nodded. "Two leaders, I will work hard." Good and hardworking, not bad." Luo Nian smiled from ear to ear. However, the slightly fat middle-aged man and Gao Feng standing next to him were dumbfounded. Why are the leaders in the city and the district so polite to Lin Feng? What is going on? By the way, Lin Feng, do you know the Campus Warrior Network? Luo Nian spoke. Lin Feng nodded. Campus Warrior Network is a website where famous teachers from major universities across the country share their cultivation experiences. Lin Feng, you are only half right. Luo Nian smiled and said, Campus Warrior Network not only has the cultivation experiences shared by famous teachers from major universities across the country, but also contains many copyrighted martial arts and cultivation methods purchased by the Ministry of Education. Now I have an idle Campus Warrior Network account in my hand. I will give you this idle Campus Warrior Network account directly. Luo Nian picked up a pen and paper beside him, wrote down the account and password, and handed it to Lin Feng. Seeing this, Wang Haixing on the side widened his eyes and froze in place. Campus Warrior Network is a website for famous teachers from major universities to communicate. Only teachers rated as backbone by the Ministry of Education can get the account and password of Campus Warrior Network. Even Wang Haixing does not have an account and password of Campus Warrior Network, but now Luo Nian gave Lin Feng an account and password of Campus Warrior Network. Chapter 29. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Wang Haixing has been the principal for so long, but he has not been able to obtain an account and password for the Campus Warrior Network, but now Luo Nian has given Lin Feng an account and password for the Campus Warrior Network. This is enough to show that Luo Nian really values Lin Feng. Lin Feng, work hard and strive to win the top scorer in this year's college entrance examination. Luo Nian patted Lin Feng on the shoulder. Lin Feng, come on. Zhang Huaiming also said. Lin Feng nodded and said, two leaders, I will work hard. Okay, then Director Zhang and I will not disturb your study. Luo Nian smiled and left the classroom. Zhang Huaiming, Su Huan, and Li Yuan followed behind. Director Huang on the side was dumbfounded. He never thought that Luo Nian, the director of the Municipal Education Bureau, would be so polite to Lin Feng, and Luo Nian also gave Lin Feng an account and password for the Campus Warrior Network. What is going on? Director Huang, I'm afraid we have to reselect the position of vice principal. Wang Haixing came up. Director Huang came back to his senses, widened his eyes, and said, Principal Wang, this can't be possible. Haven't I passed the selection, and I'm just waiting for the appointment document to be issued? Director Huang, the appointment document is unlikely to be issued. We will re-elect the vice principal of the school. Wang Haixing said with a straight face. By the way, recently all schools are going to transfer teachers to teach in mountainous areas, and I decided to recommend you to go. Director Huang. Director Huang's old face twitched, and he hurriedly said, Principal Wang, don't do this to me. It's fine if you don't let me be the vice principal, but now you want to transfer me to teach in mountainous areas. You are a little too much. Director Huang, teaching in mountainous areas is also training the next generation. Wang Haixing said seriously. Director Huang clenched his fists, making a crackling sound. He glanced at Lin Feng who was sitting next to him and gritted his teeth and said, Director Huang, is all this because of Lin Feng? I admit that Lin Feng has good talent and got the first place in the grade. But being the first in the grade in the school doesn't mean anything. Why are you so supportive of Lin Feng? Director Huang, Lin Feng's first place in the grade doesn't really mean anything, but Lin Feng can punch out a force of 130,000 pounds. Do you know what this means? Wang Haixing raised the corner of his mouth and said, "This means that Lin Feng is qualified to compete for the top scorer of the city's college entrance examination this year. 130,000 pounds. Director Huang opened his mouth wide. Without waiting for Director Huang to come back to his senses, Wang Haixing spoke again. In addition, Lin Feng's speed reached 61 meters per second. Lin Feng can dodge 600 rays of light per minute. 61 meters per second, dodge 600 rays of light per minute. Director Huang was sweating profusely. He has been teaching for many years and has never seen such excellent data among his students. In addition, Lin Feng killed 312 armored rhinos in 8 seconds. Lin Feng killed 186 bloodthirsty fishmen in 16 seconds. Lin Feng killed 133 tyrant sword tigers in 23 seconds. Lin Feng killed 133 tyrant sword tigers in 5 seconds. Wang Haixing listed Lin Feng's achievements one by one. Director Huang's forehead was covered with cold sweat, and he stood there like a petrified man. The classmates around him were also dumbfounded. Lin Feng is so powerful. By the way, Director Huang, Director Luo just approved all the maintenance and expansion funds that I have not applied for in these years. Wang Haixing patted Director Huang on the shoulder and said, "Do you know why Director Luo approved it for me? Could it be? Director Huang's throat moved and looked at Lin Feng beside him. Wang Haixing nodded, "Yes, it's because of Lin Feng." Director Luo said that good resources should be tilted towards top students. Because of Lin Feng, the maintenance and expansion funds originally allocated to Jianghai No. 1 Middle School are now all allocated to our Jianghai Vocational Auto Repair High School. Wang Haixing turned around and looked at Lin Feng with a smile on his face. "Lin Feng, if you encounter any problems, just come to me, I will definitely help you solve them." "Okay, you study hard, I won't bother you for now." After that, Wang Haixing left the classroom. Director Huang came back to his senses, turned his head to look at Gao Feng on the side, and cursed, "Gao Feng, I was really hurt by you this time." "Uncle, I didn't expect this to happen." Gao Feng lowered his head and said in a low voice, "Okay, I'll deal with you after I go back." Director Huang snorted and left the classroom. Gao Feng sat back in his seat trembling with fear. The students around him looked at Lin Feng secretly. "I didn't expect Lin Feng to be so powerful. It seems that this year's city champion will appear in our school." The city's top scorer in the college entrance examination is in a vocational high school. It's exciting to think about it. The city's top scorer in the college entrance examination is in a vocational high school. I never dared to think about it before. I didn't expect that our school's maintenance and expansion funds would be all applied for by Lin Feng. Lin Feng has made a great contribution to our school this time. Yes, Lin Feng's contribution to the school this time is too great. The school's batch of equipment can finally be replaced. The classmates whispered. The classroom was noisy. Dingling. At this time, the class bell rang. The teacher came to the classroom with a textbook. The day ended with the teacher's lectures. After school, Lin Feng immediately went to the spiritual medicine store to buy spiritual medicine for refining qi and blood pills. "Hello, sir, what spiritual medicine do you need?" the female clerk asked enthusiastically with a smile. Lin Feng took out a piece of paper from his body and handed it to the female clerk. After the female clerk looked at the spiritual medicines written on the paper, she immediately shook her head and said, "Sir, you should be an alchemist, right? All the spiritual medicines you want are spiritual medicines for refining qi and blood pills." However, since the college entrance examination is approaching, major alchemy institutions are purchasing a large number of spiritual medicines for refining qi and blood pills to refine qi and blood pills. So now these spiritual medicines for refining qi and blood pills are difficult to get on the market. "But I just bought them yesterday." Lin Feng frowned. The female clerk smiled and said, "Sir, the qi and blood pill market is different every day, and you also said that it was yesterday's thing." This morning, major alchemy institutions have already purchased all the spiritual medicines for refining qi and blood pills on the market. If you don't believe it, you can go to other spiritual medicine stores to have a look. Have you bought all of them? Lin Feng frowned and nodded. Okay, I'll go to other specialty stores first. Lin Feng left the spiritual medicine specialty store and went to several other spiritual medicine specialty stores nearby to inquire about the spiritual medicine. As a result, the other spiritual medicine specialty stores also did not sell spiritual medicines for refining qi and blood pills. Chapter 30. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lin Feng went to several other spiritual medicine stores, but still couldn't find the spiritual medicine for refining qi and blood pills. I didn't expect that in just one night, the spiritual medicine for refining qi and blood pills was all bought up. If I had known, I should have bought more spiritual medicines for refining qi and blood pills yesterday. Lin Feng sighed and suddenly thought of the spiritual medicine black market. Next to these spiritual medicine stores, there is a spiritual medicine black market. There are many spiritual medicine dealers in the black market. These spiritual medicine dealers usually stock up all kinds of spiritual medicines. Now all the spiritual medicines for refining qi and blood pills in the spiritual medicine stores have been bought up by major pill organizations. I'm afraid that the spiritual medicine for refining qi and blood pills can only be found in the spiritual medicine black market. Let's go to the spiritual medicine black market first. Lin Feng walked quickly towards the spiritual medicine black market. The black market covers a large area. Various spiritual medicines were placed on the stone platform by vendors. The hawking was even more noisy. Newly arrived Qilin grass, come and have a look. Just arrived Baiyun fruit, selling at a low price. Newly arrived spiritual medicine, complete variety, come and have a look. The vendors kept greeting passers-by. Lin Feng stopped and looked at the spiritual medicines placed in front of one of the vendors. These were all spiritual medicines for refining qishu at Tiandan. How much are these spiritual medicines? Lin Feng handed a piece of paper to the vendor. The vendor saw the spiritual medicines written on the paper and immediately understood what Lin Feng wanted to do. He returned the paper to Lin Feng and said, spiritual medicines for refining qishu at Tiandan are very precious now. I'll charge you 10,000 for this set of spiritual medicines. 10,000. Lin Feng's eyes widened. Yesterday, he bought a set of spiritual medicines for refining qishu at Tiandan for only a few hundred yuan. Today, it will cost 10,000 yuan. Isn't this just robbing money? Can it be cheaper? Lin Feng asked. No. The medicine dealer waved his hand and said, now that the college entrance examination is approaching, all the major medicine institutions are buying the medicines for refining qi and blood heaven pills and refining them. All the medicines for refining qi and blood heaven pills in those medicine specialty stores have been sold out. Even in this black market, you probably can't find a second medicine dealer who has these medicines except me. The price of 10,000 is indeed too expensive. Ordinary qi and blood heaven pills are only about 10,000. Lin Feng shook his head. Can you still buy qi and blood heaven pills for 10,000 now? You can't buy qi and blood heaven pills without about 30,000 now. The medicine dealer waved his hand. Forget it if you don't want it. Anyway, there is no shortage of people buying my medicines. Boss, is there a discount if I buy more? Lin Feng spoke again. How much do you want to buy? The boss asked. I want all the spiritual medicines you have here. All? That the boss was stunned for a moment and said, young man, the spiritual medicines here are enough to make 6 sets of spiritual medicines for refining qi and blood pills. Even if I give you a discount, I can only give you a discount of 1,000 for each set. Deal. Lin Feng waved his hand and packed all the spiritual medicines for me. Scan the code to pay first. The boss pointed to the payment code next to him. Lin Feng knew that the boss obviously didn't believe that he had so much money, so Lin Feng took out his mobile phone and scanned the code to pay the boss 54,000 blue star coins. Since the current payment system has no limit on the amount and the account is received in real time, the boss received the money quickly. Good guy, you are rich. The boss smiled and immediately packed all the spiritual medicines for Lin Feng. Lin Feng collected the spiritual medicines and left the black market, Minghua community. Lin Feng pushed the door and went home. My aunt hasn't come back yet. Lin Feng sighed, forget it, let's refine the qi and blood pill first. Lin Feng took the spiritual medicine he bought and went to the kitchen. After throwing the spiritual medicine needed to refine the qi and blood pill into the big iron pot, Lin Feng covered the pot and started to cook. Thick smoke billowed, the smell of burning filled the air. Even with exhaust, the smell could still be smelled. Time is up. Lin Feng stared at the watch on his wrist. When the time came, Lin Feng immediately turned off the fire and opened the pot. The inside of the pot was burnt black, the spiritual medicine had all turned into charcoal. The pungent smell of burning filled the air. Lin Feng picked up a chopstick and searched in the big iron pot. Soon, a blood-red pill appeared in front of Lin Feng. Lin Feng put away the pill and continued to search. The second blood-red pill was found by Lin Feng. I was able to refine 2 qi and blood heaven pills with 1 set of spiritual medicine. Not bad. Lin Feng nodded with satisfaction, poured out the medicine residue in the large iron pot, cleaned the iron pot, and continued to refine the qi and blood heaven pill. Soon, the second pot of qi and blood heaven pills came out of the pot. This time, Lin Feng refined 3 qi and blood heaven pills. In the third pot, Lin Feng refined 2 qi and blood heaven pills. In the fourth pot, Lin Feng refined 1 qi and blood heaven pill. In the fifth pot, Lin Feng refined 3 qi and blood heaven pills. In the last pot, Lin Feng refined 1 qi and blood heaven pill. A total of 12 qi and blood heaven pills were refined this time. Lin Feng looked at the 12 qi and blood heaven pills that had been packed and nodded with satisfaction. Not bad, it can be sold at a good price again. I don't know if these qi and blood heaven pills can be upgraded to a higher level after optimization. Lin Feng communicated with the system. The voice of the system sounded immediately. Excuse me, host, do you want to optimize 12 qi and blood heaven pills? This optimization requires a total of 60 optimization points. Optimize. Ding, optimization successful. A faint glow enveloped the 12 qi and blood heaven pills. When the light faded, the 12 qi and blood pills became more and more scarlet. The qi and blood contained in them were also obviously stronger. It didn't improve much. Lin Feng curled his lips and said to himself, I have refined so many qi and blood pills this time, I can take a few more to try the effect. Under normal circumstances, the effect of qi and blood pills on warriors will become weaker and weaker. In other words, the effect of each warrior is the best when he takes the first qi and blood pill. After taking qi and blood pills, the effect is not so good, but Lin Feng is different. Lin Feng has demon art of devouring the sky, and demon art of devouring the sky only requires Lin Feng to keep eating to become stronger. The effect of taking pills is naturally the best. Take 2 first and try it. Lin Feng directly stuffed 2 qi and blood pills into his mouth. Qi. The pure energy dissolved in Lin Feng's body. These energies were automatically refined by the heaven-devouring magic art and finally flowed into Lin Feng's dantian. Lin Feng's aura increased rapidly, and his cultivation level also broke through. 2 qi and blood heavenly pills allowed me to break through from the first level of the War General Realm to the third level of the War General Realm. Take 2 more qi and blood heavenly pills and try it. Lin Feng ate 2 more qi and blood heavenly pills. Qi. Pure energy flowed into Lin Feng's body again. The heaven-devouring magic art was running rapidly. All the energy was gathered into Lin Feng's dantian. Lin Feng's cultivation level broke through to the 4th level of the War General Realm in one breath. Break through another small realm. Lin Feng raised his eyebrows and swallowed 3 qi and blood heavenly pills in one breath. After taking 3 qi and blood heavenly pills, Lin Feng's aura was obviously improved a lot, but this time Lin Feng failed to break through his cultivation level. The further you practice, the more energy you need. The qi and blood pills alone are not enough. It seems I have to try another pill. Lin Feng put away the remaining 5 qi and blood pills, preparing to sell them all, and then buy spiritual medicine to refine new pills.